Hey, Crosby. It's Stephanie and Adrian from the How to Be a Redhead podcast. We're so excited to have you on.
Hi, I'm so excited to be on. So honored.
Yeah. So we want to go right into it. And a question we like to ask our guests who have red hair. What was it like for you growing up as a redhead?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I was like, I think I kind of liked it. I think I kind of liked the attention from like old lady. You know, I could like always count on like an old lady to be like, oh, like,
Yeah.
and I,
Freak out.
you know, yeah, it would
Someone
be
would
like,
spend a
haha.
lot of money to get your hair color.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Like people pay for that number.
Yeah.
Um, and I also had like, my siblings are all redheads. My dad's a redhead.
Oh my gosh. So you come up from a
Yeah.
family of redheads.
So it
Very
wasn't a
cool.
surprise when you were born. They expected
Exactly.
it.
Like the random one that's like, what the, where in the bloodline? It
Yeah.
was very like, boop, boop, boop. And so in that in itself was kind of a spectacle, I think. Like me and my sister, me and my brother, but so I never felt like that weird.
Right. Because you guys all had each other.
Yeah. Until, middle school. And then that's just, everyone feels weird, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
everyone goes through an awkward stage. I did.
Yeah.
Adrian did. I'm
Mhm.
sure you did. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I think
We had braces and glasses and,
Well,
just the
red
whole
hair.
and red hair
and
like
horrible
probably a sunburn.
haircuts, horrible haircuts and
We had it all.
sunburn.
We
Yeah,
had like the worst of the worst.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to have a little kid going through an awkward stage and just be like, you're so cute.
I know.
Like, looking back, I'm like, we were actually adorable.
Yeah.
Like,
I
awkward
know.
stage-
I look at the pictures and I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
No, it really wasn't. And but I think there's a point in your like 20s when you look back at photos and you're like, oh. But then as you get older, for Adrian and I, we're in our 30s. It's
Right.
like, it actually, it's exactly what you said. We were kind of cute. And I think you have to go through those stages in life to get to a point where you're at now.
Totally.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine not have gone through that awkward stage and
I know.
those horrible haircuts and freckles. So what how was that like you growing up? Did your siblings, they had red hair, did they also have a lot of freckles and
And you grew up in Georgia, so you
I
probably had
know.
a lot of sun.
A lot of sun. A lot of like, it also just the time I grew up was very like, especially like into teen years, it was just like Britney Spears,
Yes.
blonde tan. And so like, it wasn't that I minded my dad grew up also no sunscreen, so he kind of was like one big freckle. Like
that happened.
Like it looks like you're tan, like almost.
Yeah,
But
and
it's just like been years and years of sunburns.
Yeah.
exactly.
All like meshed together.
Yeah. Like, can you tell me your routine? He's like, no sunscreen, just baby oil on the beach.
Oh my god! And
like,
he's a natural redhead.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes, he's covered, and so he's getting stuff burnt off every
all the
week.
time.
Yeah, it's just part of the deal. But I would lay out with my friends, and I would burn on purpose because I would try and build freckle enough to make a tan.
Yeah.
Like, and I really wanted tan calves for some reason. I was like, I have to achieve tan calves, and I would burn my calves. And now I just have extremely freckly calves.
Well, it's kind of like, do you have freckles on your knees because the sun hits your knees?
Yes.
So like I have so many freckles just on my knee. But that's so funny, just on your calf, because leg sunburns are the worst.
Oh, awful.
Awful.
Awful. And then I like remember, my right arm still from being a passenger.
Oh yeah.
It's only 7, like now that I'm more driver. But from being a passenger, my right arm would have more freckles always than my left.
Yeah. I feel
From like childhood.
I know. And our parents, I mean, they weren't that good about putting sunscreen on. I know that our mom listens to our podcast, like, so I know that she's going to be
she's going to say that she did.
But I don't like that you called me out, but
no, just now, my parents, long story, they live in the back now in our mother-in-law apartment. And I just went back there to see them before this interview. And I was like, oh, hey, what's going on? And mom was out there tanning her legs. Like like tanning them. Like she's like, oh, she goes, look at my tan lines from yesterday. And I just looked at her like,
because she tans.
I don't even know how that would be to have tan lines. Like I was just.
Oh my God. The redheads who tan, my sister and I are like, they made a deal with the devil. Like what? How?
I know. Like, how is it possible that I'm over here getting a sunburn? Because now that I'm older, this makes me think of it. I played tennis growing up, and I would get the worst sunburns, and I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing. And then now that I'm a little older, I do miss some sort of activity. So I thought in my head, I've entertained the idea of getting back into tennis. But the one thing I told my husband, I'm nervous about getting sunburns because I don't want to be the one over there like applying sunscreen and then your hands get all gross. So then the racket, I don't know. So I think that's for me that one of the reasons why I'm not, because I'm afraid of the sun.
Yeah. I have little sisters. My stepmom and my dad have my twin little sisters. They're redhead. They're 11-year-old redhead, identical twin girls.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So red gene is dominant in your family. Wow.
Wow.
Dave has strong red just down the line, and they are such athletes and like they just play all day, whatever. And I've been like pushing my stepmom to get them into basketball. I'm like, trust me, you're gonna want an inside sport. Just like basketball. You don't have to go sunscreen, like just do that. But of course they're obsessed with like football and softball.
All the
and
outdoor.
Soccer.
Yeah, I know. It's like so painful as a kid. And then we were talking about this on a previous, with the previous guest, but it was just so natural. I don't know if you were raised like this, where you just got in your Aveeno bathtub, oatmeal bath, like every
like you just knew you were going to get a sunburn that day.
I remember we had the boxes underneath our sink, and that was just normal. And now I would never want that upon my children. Like, I'm hoping that they never have to experience that, because then
the pain.
You also have to go to school. I don't know if you've ever, and the peeling after, and then all the kids are wondering or asking if they can like peel it off. And that was horrible.
You're like a reptile, literally. Yeah. And it's like, how big can you make the pull off piece? Yeah. Like, can you make it the whole arm?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm jealous of my sisters too, because they have SPF long sleeve bathing suits. They're
nowadays.
Like my stepmom.
Oh, I wish. Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
We missed out.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So we just have to get right into Palm Royale though, because we are all such big fans of the show. And congratulations on landing the role of Sylvia.
Yeah.
And I have to say, there are two redheads on the show, you and Carol Burnett. So for our listeners, Palm Royale is a star-studded, such a great cast on Apple TV Plus that takes place in the 1960s in Florida. Tell us what your experience was like. Like, are you just mind blown, or like, what was it like?
Like seeing these people in real life? I don't know. Maybe because we're not actors, but I think
Laura Dern. Oh, she's a redhead. I count her as a redhead.
Strawberry blonde.
Yeah. So maybe 3.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig. I mean, Ricky Martin. It was like, I
met Ricky Martin. I was like, be normal, Crosby, be normal, be normal, be normal. And he was like on set, and he like something. I think I dropped something actually. He was the sweetest man. I'm not kidding. Like, not fake sweet, like just like truly, genuinely so kind, looking everyone in the eye, like, hey guys, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, very nice. I dropped something, like I think my lines or something, like my sides, and the paper like skidded across the room to like his feet, pretty much. And he was like, I was like, he was like leaning over to pick it up. And I literally go, no, Ricky Martin. And like, was like, no, please. And he was like, oh, so I was like, you don't help me. I help you. Like, it was really like moment of just like, okay, Cos, reel it in. Yeah. But he was so sweet. He was like, oh, here,
And
whatever.
What's it like seeing? Yeah, what's it like being on set? I mean, Carol Burnett is like,
yeah, it was really. This is like my first kind of like bigger thing that I've ever done, and so in general, I was like preparing myself. I was like, Kristen Wiig is my ultimate hero. Like, she's really one of the reasons I like even decided to go into this field.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? That's so, and then
Yeah.
how crazy the synergy between, I mean, and then the fact that she's starring in the show that
It,
you're in.
it's great. It was great. I was like, no. And so I really had to psych myself into like, I was like, you know, never meet your hero. So I was also like, she might be, who knows? Who knows? She might be a diva, whatever. Like, be prepared. It's okay. Just expect nothing from anyone. Just like go do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just so oh, speaking of redhead. I'm in the makeup chair, getting my makeup done on my first day. I'm telling the makeup guy, I'm like, I really am scared to meet Kristen Wiig because I'm gonna blush. I was like, I blush, and it's like I can't control it, and it's not a cute blush. It's like a blush where people are like, "Are you okay, girl?" And
like, are you gonna pass out?
Yeah, they're like, do you need water? She walks into the trailer, the makeup trailer, comes directly to me, knows my name. I'm like, she's like, Crosby, oh my gosh, so nice to meet you. I'm Kristen. It's so nice to have you. We're so excited.
Oh my God.
And I feel the red. I'm like,
It's coming.
Raising. I can't even say anything to her. I'm like, thank you. Like, I say one thing that doesn't really make sense. And I walk away, and the makeup guy's like, you weren't kidding. You really do blush. Like, he was like, whoa.
That's one thing about being a redhead. We cannot cover how we really feel. Like, we can't. I know. That happened to me the other day, actually. And I got so flushed, and I was like, oh, I'm so jealous of people who just are flushed, but you don't look flushed, and you can just like have your poker face. Like, we have no poker face as redheads.
Or you could even be like cute, like, oh my gosh, I'm like bashful. But it's like, no, ours is like splotchy red, like bright red.
Yeah. Like, mine's like from the neck up, especially my cheeks.
Mine's all in my cheeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
All in my cheeks. It looks like I put like a whole thing of blush on them if I get really flustered. Yeah. But it's, oh my God. Well, meeting her, I can understand, especially if you meet someone that has, you know, that you look up to as in your career.
Yeah. She really like just exceeded any expectation I had. She was so kind to everyone. You know, she and Laura also were executive producers. So they were also so busy and like, and still knew literally everyone's name. Like, Kristen knew, it was my first day. It was a bunch of also background first day, and she knew all of their names. Like, she was just in conversation with everyone else. Anyway, besides like, they were amazing. Laura as well. Like, you know, they both took time to take me aside and be like, this is your set as much as it is ours. And like,
that's
if you ever
so
need
nice.
It was just like the most amazing experience, like first experience on a set like that. And also just like a gorgeous set.
I'm sure. Right. I mean, the whole show is gorgeous.
Everything's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Wow.
And really, truly everyone, I think they set a standard for like just everyone's just kind and nice and good and hardworking. And I did meet Carol Burnett.
You did? How was that?
I mean, we just all cried like immediately. I think I blacked out, forgot she said something hilarious that one of my friends from, she remembers, and I always text her. I'm like, what did Carol say again? You know, like,
remind me.
Yeah. But I was just totally like in awe, and she walked away, and like three of us just hugged each other and cried. We were just like, like, we don't know why, she just has that power. You're like, oh, I mean, it's
Carol Burnett.
She's like, wow.
Yeah.
She is like the legendary. I was wondering, when you auditioned, did you know you were going to get this role? Like, did you have a good feeling?
No, I had auditioned for a different role, and I got pretty close with that. And then when that didn't work out, I was like, okay, like, darn. And then they came back with another one, and I was like, I don't know. I had COVID. I remember I had to send in a tape. I had full blown COVID.
Oh gosh.
And so I taped virtually with like, my friend on speakerphone. I was like completely incapacitated, but luckily it was like the audition scene. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, you'll see what the audition scene was. And it was okay. And I sent it. It was one of those like random ones where I just sent, and I was like, whatever, I have to go back to sleep. And then, yeah, when I got it, I really like cried and was like, oh, this feels too good to be true.
Like,
I
is it
remember
a
being
dream?
yeah, with Kristen on the first day, and she was like, we're opposite each other. That like first little scene I have with her, and I had to stop. I was literally laughing out loud because I felt like I was watching my TV. Like I was like,
right,
my brain couldn't
process what was happening.
That I was there with her, so I was just like, don't laugh. You have to be in character. Look at her and just do the thing. Like I couldn't fully. Anyway, it was amazing.
Did it help that you were pregnant during that scene? You know, like that you, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I even asked that, but like you had like a prop with you to like.
It totally did. It was like disarmed everyone in a way. Like it was a funny gag, obviously, but lots of bits got to do like with the fake belly. And then, it just, it added some levity, I think, like in general, because I just got to mess around with it and I felt like a different person, but it helped.
And did they when they were casting and you were doing auditions, I don't know how much you can share about this, but Sylvia is obviously a redhead and they didn't change that. Yeah. So when you went into it, did you know that that you were auditioning for a role where they were looking for a redhead?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I don't know. I met someone who was up for the role as well, and then another friend auditioned, and everyone all different hair colors. So they weren't specifically looking for a redhead for that. And I was actually worried. I heard that Laura Dern's character was supposed to be redhead, and so that's the only thing with like redhead sometimes casting. It's like they're never gonna want to have more than one in a mix, like necessarily. Like, and so I was like, oh, you know, unless I'm supposed to be related to her, I don't know that I would want like another redhead hanging around. But no, it worked.
Would you have dyed your hair?
I think because your shades were different. It helped.
Yeah, shades different. Would I have dyed my hair? I mean,
have you ever dyed it?
Never ever dyed.
I know. It's part of my identity too. We talk to people and they're like, yeah, whatever, I'll dye it. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't. It's just like so part of me that I don't know. And Steph and I always say wigs are great. You know, if you ever had a wig up for a role.
Yeah. It would be fun one day, like because I have been so precious about it. I'm like, no, I can't touch it. It would be fun one day to like have to dye it. If I have to, I'll do it. If it's like a thing I just can't turn down, and I will of course dye it. But and then you know it will grow out, of course. But I remember when like Lindsay Lohan dyed her hair blonde. I like remember it, and I was like, what?
We've talked about it numerous times. Adrian and I were like, couldn't believe it. And then so happy that now that she's back in her beautiful red hair,
and like more vibrant than
she
ever,
went through something, obviously, but like,
no, but she was like our generation of a redhead to look up to.
Yeah.
You know, like we had no one,
no,
you know, back in the day. I'm sure you know Crosby. And like, so now to have all these redheads who are growing up now have so much more to look up to.
And people are getting like tattoo freckles. I'm like, okay.
I know, we got it natural. Like people used to make fun of my freckles and want to connect the dots. I remember this kid in school, he turned around one time and was like, yeah, can I connect the dots? And I was like, I've heard that so many times. Like, no, you can't.
You're like,
turn around.
You're like, fine, just do it.
Yeah. And now I know the everyone's getting the faux freckles and doing like crazy things to do it. Yeah.
Redheads, have you heard?
We aired on ABC's Shark Tank, episode 14, season 15. We are busy developing products and continuing to grow this incredible redhead lifestyle brand.
Check out our mascara and eyebrow products in red hot shades, hair care, merch, lifestyle items, and so much more. Redheads, we can now rejoice.
Finally, there are products for us.
Use code podcast to get 15% off your next purchase. Shop at shop.howtobearedhead.com. So we love to talk about people's journeys, you know, coming from where you were in Georgia to where you are now. And so we did a deep dive and found a podcast interview you did right after graduating from acting school 8 years ago. You said you were at a place in life similar to a movie scene when someone jumps out of an airplane and they panic and check to make sure that they have their parachute on.
Like, ah.
We were wondering what analogy you would use now to describe where you are in life, you know, post Palm Royale. Like, do you have an analogy for this amazing journey you're on?
Wow, it's so bizarre hearing something you said in the past. You're like, what are you saying? I oh gosh. I mean, I guess to just go off of old Crosby's analogies, like I'm learning that I guess I'll be falling forever. Like at that point, coming out of theater school, I was like, whoa, here I go, off the plane, whee! Like, where am I gonna land? And I think I'm learning, like, oh, you never land. Like, you're
always
just
flying.
now getting used to the free fall feeling. You're like, oh, that's every day. That's that feeling of like, what's gonna happen is like, kind of with this job, it's like, that's every day. And every time you feel like, you're like, oh, I'm about to land, like, I'm about to be cozy, you're like, nope, still falling. Okay, still going. I feel like that's where I'm at right now. And it's a good thing. It's like sort of the whole the journey is the destination thing.
Yeah. And you always think that like grass is greener. Like I do that all the time. Like, oh, when I get to this point, it's going to be so great. Like that's going to be like my great moment when this happens. And then when it happens, I'm like, no, but it actually needs to be at this point. So I know what you mean by the falling. Like, I think that's just life. It's just like realizing that it's just never going to come to a point. I don't think my life is ever going to come to a point where I'm just like, oh, I can just like lay down now. I just think because it's just not my personality. I don't know. And I think the brain like makes up scenarios of what you think is going to be great.
Totally. Yeah, you just keep being like, oh, maybe I'm just the type of person who's constantly gonna be like, okay, what's next, you know? And that's, you gotta learn to love that about yourself. And I'm like, okay, fine.
But isn't that like being an actor? Because it's like one role after another, right? Is like once you wrap up, is your brain already like, oh my God, what's next?
Do you feel like you have momentum post Palm Royale? Like, do you feel like you have energy, like extra energy?
I do, but like, it's a weird time in the industry. It's really like, it's not like even 10 years ago when like something like this would really kind of, at least like be like, ooh, like what's next kind of thing. I think even the most successful, well, probably not the most, but like people like higher than me are even kind of a little bit scrambling feeling.
Because of the strike.
After the strike, things are like a little bit, you know, we shot that 2 years ago.
Are you kidding? You shot it 2
years ago?
No.
I always assume it was like a year before or something.
I always say like, 9 months to a year is what I've read that.
But because of the strike, it was delayed.
Usually it is. Yeah, they waited to put it out because it's so star-studded that they were like, well, we kind of need to have like a red carpet for the, you know, a moment for this. So they waited. They had to push a long time. And so that was bizarre. You know, I was like, did I ever do this? Like, is it coming out? You know, my family's like, when, darling, like, when is this happening?
Wow. But you couldn't tell anyone either, right? Is it like lips are sealed?
I could tell. I couldn't go into detail like about the plot, but I wish I hadn't told, honestly, because it was 2 years. I wish, like, now going forward, if I book something, I'm literally not going to tell a single. I'll tell like my mom, and that's it, because it was so. I felt so silly with all my friends asking me like, "When's this thing coming?" And I'm like, "I swear, I did it. I promise.
I'm not lying."
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So it's just better. Yeah, I can understand if you're like, I'm just going to keep it hush hush. But then you want people to know that you're doing something. So it's kind of, you're torn. But wow, 2 years. That's crazy.
So you are doing other things though, because I did see, we both saw on our IG that you started your live recording of a fake lifestyle podcast called Cream. Is that right?
Cream.
Yeah. Yes. My friend, we actually just renamed it to Podcast the Show.
Podcast the Show.
Oh, I like that.
Which we feel like makes sense a little bit more. Yeah, it's basically, you know how podcasters, they like do live versions of their show, like on the road.
Yeah.
And we just, we loved we love sending each other, like, there's just like these interviews of like podcasters and stuff. And we were out, my friend Caroline Cotter, who's one of the funniest people I know. We were literally just eating Mexican one day and talking about, you know, the reels that we see, and we were like, what if we did sort of like the versions of ourselves, you know, because we were like, oh, we can't do a podcast. We're just too like nervous to do a podcast. But we were like, what if we did kind of characters, like heightened versions of ourselves doing a podcast? And also, like, you know, like the boy podcasts culture where they're like saying all these facts and you're like, what are you guys talking about? It's like not facts, and you're like, what's happening? So we wanted to sort of like do a play on that as well. And so it's really sort of like clowny, like it's improv, it's very like demented kind of. It's like someone ends up bleeding out of the mouth always, or like someone, like, it's just like it really takes crazy turns. And we're doing it in Hollywood Fringe this year, festival, sort of like a festival. I don't really understand what it is. It's like a festival of plays, but we're doing our thing anyway. It's mostly just, we both were like, we want to have something on the schedule that we do that's really fun, that's like pretty, also not like high maintenance, you know, because it's improv. We have these set characters that are like totally bizarre. My hair is like just like tight back in a bun. And I'm in like a, you know, sweatsuit, and like we have sponsors. Like last week our sponsor was fruit, just fruit.
That's so funny.
And it's really just like for us to have as much crazy fun as we possibly can while we wait.
And being creative too.
That is so cool.
And then who, Adrian and I wanted to ask, who's your dream actor to work with?
You already worked with Carol Burnett,
Kristen Wiig,
Laura Dern. I mean,
it really would have been Kristen Wiig and Laura Dern. It really, truly would have. But I was thinking about this, and you know what? Julianne Moore.
Yeah, I know.
You know, she just,
what an icon.
I just love her. Yeah, icon. Did you see her interview recently in something? But I kind of loved, she was like, they were like, do you like your red hair now? You know, and she kind of was like, not really. Like, sometimes I don't love it. And like, it was so honest. Like,
no,
it was
I didn't see that.
I love her.
It was like, I love her. So I was sort of sad at her. I was like, what do you mean you don't love it? And then I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's kind of annoying sometimes, whatever. But like, we love it, obviously. And no one else can say that they don't like it. But like, we can say, sure, I wish I didn't have to wear sunscreen all the time or whatever.
Have you ever seen her in person?
No, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I'd be weird.
I know.
If I saw her or
we have
Jessica
a dream.
Chastain,
Wait, we have a dream.
I'd be
about seeing Julianne Moore, though. Stephanie and I, so we were living on the Upper West Side of New York, and we used to take the 1 train all the way down to the West Village, and we had this favorite coffee shop. Word on the street was that Julianne Moore like lived, and this was like her coffee shop, right? So we were like, oh my God, we go to like the same coffee shop as Julianne Moore. And we would always have this dream, like, well, what happens when we see her? Like, what do we do?
Because she was always photographed, like, walking in her Birks with her kids.
And we wear Birks. We were like, we wear Birks, and we're like low-key cool people. And we're like, Birks, red hair. Like, there's going to come a point
and
where
her kids have red hair.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh my God. So we had this,
we had this like dream, and it's like never come true. But we're like,
she'd be like, who are these like redhead girls like looking look exactly like me.
Because
like, in these
I know
Birks.
exactly what would have happened if we saw her like across the street. Adrian would say, "Go up to her," and then I'd be like, "No, you go up to her." And then she tried to pull the big sister. You go up to her, and then I would have
We
to
would
go
have
up
to
to
do
her.
it together. We would have to do it together.
Right.
We would.
And then it would be so awkward. It'd be like, "Hi, we're redheads and we love you." I mean, and then now too that we love Jessica Chastain, I don't know what I would do if I also saw Jessica Chastain. I think I would just stare at her and then like be super awkward because right, like
I'm looking at her. Yeah, it would be
like,
so
I
weird.
see you. You're actually. I just want to pinch you to know that you're real, and like I just didn't make this up in my head.
Yeah, like that would be even. Yeah, I don't know. Jessica Chastain also. Yeah, I'd be weird. I'd be totally weird. I'd be like, you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then like what you said earlier, word comes out that like totally didn't make sense, or
like,
she says something I don't know how I would react.
Yeah, like thank you, and she's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just like certain redheads that I would, both of them. I mean, they're icons and they're so talented.
Yeah, they're just so
I
good
know.
too. It's like
when you were watching Laura Dern or you were watching Kristen Wiig, like were you able to watch them during scenes or is it closed off?
Yeah. My first day was 13 hours of one scene where it was mostly them like talking to each other.
One scene took that long?
Yeah, it was like the whole day because we did a bunch of angles and it was like a pretty big scene.
Okay.
And that was my first day on set. And I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to watch Kristen Wiig, Laura Dern for 13 hours do a scene. It was literally a masterclass. Like, I feel like it really, and I did have to like be like, okay, you're in the scene too. Like, you have to pay attention. You have to like be in it kind of mentally. But they're such professionals. They've been doing it and they know what they're doing and they have such power over like what they're doing that it was like, I couldn't believe, they would take a scene and do it one way and then be like, you know what, to the direct, like, I'm going to take that again. I'm just going to whip around, edit themselves during. They just have so much awareness of the camera and angles and also as well as like their own personal like emotional journey and like delivery. And I just feel like I learned like 2 years worth of acting just watching them that first day. But then I would sit, if ever I was called to be on set and I had any downtime and other scenes were being shot, I was sitting in whatever that's called, the video village, where the people, I would like be like, is this okay? Like some like executive producer is like, okay, can we get a chair for you? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just gonna sit here and like sit and watch. And then a very nice PA would like bring me headphones, like, do you want to listen? I'd be like, please, yes. And I would just sit and watch for hours.
That has to be so awesome. That has to be amazing. Mm-hmm. And not to switch gears too, but Stephanie and I were both looking at your beautiful curls. Do you do anything? Do you do anything for them? Because they look so nice. No frizz. You also are in Los Angeles probably, right? With no humidity. Yeah, that helps.
Yes. Here we go with the no humidity again. Great hair. I mean, it's like, I'm so jealous. We're on the East Coast where the humidity is at an all-time high right now, and it's not even full-time, summer.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I'm East Coast girly, so I
from Georgia,
Georgia. Yeah, and then I went to school in New York, and like I definitely at the time, I don't know if it's like if you guys went through this with Redhead stuff, is like I just felt like everything about me was so loud, like my pale skin, red hair, and then the curls. I was just like, okay, so I'm Ronald McDonald. Is that like what I got? I just was like, really, curls. So I would like straighten, or I just never learned how to deal with them. I just wanted to straighten them. And I mean, right now they're very flat. That's one thing about the no humidity is like they kind of fall. So now I love curls, but I don't do much, but I wanted to, this stuff, I went to like a fancy curly girl,
salon,
yes. and they convinced me to get this stuff. It's called Liquid Spell by
Divines. Oh yeah.
Divines.
Oh
my God.
You love it?
I love it. I love it so much. I put it on wet. I just need like the most low maintenance thing, like process ever. And this is, if I do something, it's this. I just put it on my wet curls and kind of.
Is it a curling product? Like, is it marketed?
Reinforced bodifying fluid.
So maybe it just adds hydration.
Yes, which is what they told me at this curly salon. They were like, you need moisture and hydration. And I was like, okay, I'll buy it, whatever, I think it is, because I think you can do it, but it's like, she was also like, put it on before you blow dry also, if you want to, even if, like, because I usually just dry, let it air dry. But it smells like, when you go to the salon and you're like, what do you guys use? Like, it just smells so good. Your hair smells good for like 5 days. This smells like a salon.
Does it? Oh, that's such a good quality about a product. I agree. When it smells like the salon, and you can kind of replicate that at home.
Yeah.
And then what about, tell me.
Oh, Mika.
Right.
Oh,
shampoo.
I love dry
Smells
shampoo.
good.
I'm such a big dry shampoo person.
Me too.
I just love it. Do you wash your hair a lot, or are you like every couple of days? What do you do? I'm like once a week, maybe. Okay.
Same. Like, as long as I can pull it.
Me too. And don't you think curly hair, like, it looks better as you go on? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got it. This is probably 4 days down the line. And it's getting a little like falling, but I'm like,
I think it looks great. I love it.
Yeah, it does look great. You have beautiful curls. And how about makeup? What do you do for makeup? Because your skin is really beautiful.
We were talking about that before you came on today, Steph, just how glowing her skin is.
Yeah, your skin looks so glowy. Nice.
I did just Weleda.
Okay.
Skin food.
Yeah.
It's in the green bottle. It's like my saving grace. I just do it twice a day. I'm telling you, I have to do just the most simple stuff because I'm just not too ADHD to like have a same routine.
Wait, is it an oil?
So I'm like, I think it's advertised as like a hand cream even, but it's a very thick lotion. It's like it's so dry out here also. And I don't know if I'll do like, and if it's an Irish thing, and if you're Irish, I don't know, but like I'm so dry naturally anyway.
Yeah, I am too.
I run. Okay. And so I just need the like thickest, most like oily stuff ever. So I do that. And for makeup, I lately I've been trying to just do no foundation, and maybe like some concealer and stuff, because I don't want to cover the freckles. It's like impossible to cover them. It's like, I'm like, I just don't want to at all. And even the lightest BB cream sometimes will cover them. And so I just sort of try and do like the most like the least amount of concealer I can do, and then keep it free.
Yeah. How about sunscreen? Because of living in California.
Oh, that here. Okay, Epicurean. It took me so long. Epicurean. It took me so long to find one that didn't make my eyes water, that didn't smell bad, and this one really is
Epicurean. Is it mineral or chemical? Do you know?
Great question. It's how do we know? Oh, water.
And in the back, the active ingredients. I was just wondering because there's so many different types of sunscreens out there.
Homosalate.
Oh, okay.
It's probably chemical.
Maybe.
Because it's
yeah. Because there's no is there zinc oxide in it?
Oh, there is.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So maybe it is chemical, but you feel like it doesn't leave a white cast on your skin.
That's what I know.
That's the ones with the white cast, and I'm over there like really rubbing it in, and then I look like a ghost. It's horrible.
Also, I know. I'm like, if it does it to us, like who can wear it? Like, is it for babies? Like, because we're like the palest
I know.
It's like,
And the baby sunscreen, sometimes I use my kids' sunscreen. And let me just tell you, it is so hard to rub it in. I feel like I also, on top of it being white, it's red from rubbing in so much.
yeah. I was thinking, now that this probably came back already and it will come back again, but I was thinking it'd be, because you know how pimple patches are in?
Yeah.
It's like so cool, and like teens are so cool, and they're like, yeah, I have a pimple, whatever. With sunscreen, I'm like, redheads, we should create like the like purple sort of like zinc sunscreen here again.
And then
like,
just walk around.
and just, yeah, just flaunt it. Just like, if you're not going to make them rub-inable, then let's just make them fun colors at least. And like,
just wear it all throughout the day.
Yeah.
It is funny you say that about the pimple patches, because we were at a restaurant a couple weeks ago, and the waitress had on all these pimple patches, and I was like, good for you. Like,
I love it, just wearing it like that. That's awesome.
Just wearing it, and it was just, like normal. And I was like, I appreciate that, because sometimes I wear mine out and about, and my husband's like, what's on your face? And then I get like really self-conscious, and I only keep it on for a short amount of time. Yeah. But this one person, like, she rocked it. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Do it.
It's very LA models.
Yeah,
do
of
it.
course.
You know, you're like, I'm like, okay, cool.
They just walk around wearing it. I love that.
Oh yeah. It's like cooler to have pimple patches on. I'm not kidding.
I think that's so cool. I wish we had that. Oh, another thing I wish we had growing up, right? It would have been so much easier to just be like, I'm going to wear this to high school today.
I know. On top of like awkward stage, it's also, we forgot to talk about acne was like a thing, so your braces, glasses, and acne. It's like,
you can't win.
Trifecta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, your skin is beautiful, Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us what's next for you. Like, what are you looking forward to? What are you working on?
Just still auditioning, doing these live shows. I'm writing some stuff right now. I have like a couple things that I'm writing, a pilot and a movie.
Congrats. That's amazing.
That's so cool.
Congrats.
Yeah. And just staying busy, as like much as I can to kind of, as I fall from the plane.
Mm-hmm.
But just taking it day by day, trying to stay in the moment and enjoy it. And
that's awesome. We'll keep going. We can't wait to just watch your career flourish. So awesome to meet you, and just thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys so much. It's actually so fun to just talk to a bunch of redheads.
I know.
It's really fun.
It is.
I know.
We
love talking
to
you.
I know. We love
and
it.
We can relate. We can relate to so many things, especially growing up stories like that. I'm like, you get it. We get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys so much.
Thank you.